UnArt Television is reporting today from Cologne E-Werk on 20th November 2012. The reason is the concert of Marillion, and I'm happy to have a very special guest beside me to get an audience or interview, Steve Rothery. Hello, Steve, a former member and the former of Marillion. You are on a European tour now?
Yes, we're about a week into this tour. We've just come back from a month tour of South America and Mexico.
Yeah.
So a little bit of a shock coming back to the European winter. But
okay.
It's okay. Great audiences for us here anyway.
Yeah. Okay. Your tour is going till 27th January in 2013. And the last show you've played in France and Netherlands were still sold out, no?
Yes, probably. Yeah, we've had quite a few sold out shows on this tour.
Yeah, and yesterday you've played in Amsterdam, Netherlands. What was your impression of yesterday?
It was good. It's a nice venue. Good audience. We've got a great following in Holland generally. But yeah, all three shows we played there, especially Eindhoven, the middle show.
Yeah,
was quite exceptional.
Okay. I have an incredible number of questions, but I want to focus at first your magnificent new album, A Sound That Can't Be Made, which was released on 14th September this year. It takes 2 or 3 years of work are done for this album. Your impressions of the past 3 years during the time of production?
Well, we didn't work on it continuously for 3 years. We did do lots of other things as well. We tried writing it. We went to Portugal for a few weeks to try writing it after we'd finished the touring for the last album, for the acoustic album, Less Is More. And it was just far too early to start the writing process, really. It was quite fraught. So we decided to concentrate on other things for a while. And we did a lot of touring in Germany. We did a special guest to Deep Purple around Germany, and then the year after we did the John headline with Saga, again around Germany. So and various other things. So although it's been 3 years, it's probably only been about 9 months in terms of the time that we spent making it.
Yeah.
And it takes us a long time to write albums. We're not. We don't just churn them out. The way we write and the way that the songs develop, there's no quick way of doing it, really.
Yeah. Okay. Do you remember some special impressions to make these albums?
Well, what we did, we actually went down to Real World, Peter Gabriel's studio.
Yeah.
We had a couple of sessions down there, 5-day sessions, and I think that really helped to focus the band. Because the problem we have our own studio, and we've made most of the albums there for the kind of last 20 years, I suppose. But sometimes it's good to get away from all the other distractions.
Yeah.
Real World is an amazing place, and that pushed forward the album quite a lot, and we worked very, very hard on this record. We all have. We haven't finished it by the time we started touring. We started touring in America in June, and we haven't finished the album. So when we were all working it on the road during the tour, and then when we came back, straight back in the studio, working. I recorded most of my guitars in my studio at home, so I could work there while the producer was working in our main studio, and Mark Hewell would be working in his studio, and Steve Hogarth, the singer, would be working on his system at home. So, it all kind of came together and uploaded via a Dropbox online, and then the producer would import the files, and that's how the album came together, really.
Yeah.
Which is a bit of a strange way of working, but it worked well for this.
Yeah.
And it was the only way we could finish it in the time.
Many of the old school musicians were doing this at this time.
I think it's definitely very useful if you're collaborating with people on the other side of the world to be able to exchange files. And I've just been working with an American composer called Jason Hausman. We did a soundtrack for a documentary for PBS in America, which I just heard a couple of days ago has been nominated for 3 Emmys.
Yeah.
So that was good news. But yeah, and we did that. We kind of work via a Dropbox. So yeah, it's cool working.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I take the opportunity to personally say thank you for the song Gather. It's relevant than ever. And I said without political white, but with whiting of humanity. Marillion is supporting the Hoping Foundation, just like David Gilmour, Roger Waters and many other. In times like these, there are not many musicians and artists who openly the voice against violence and injustice. Can you describe the feelings you've processed in this song?
Well, when it's one of those things, the song originally wasn't going to make the album. We'd written parts of it, and there was a danger that we thought it might come across as too political, even though that's not how it was designed. Mm-hmm. But when we got to the end of the arranging and the recording of the other songs, the producer Mike Hunter said, "Well, look, this is too good, it's too powerful, and could be the best thing on the record. We have to do this." And we listened through again, and we agreed, really. So it's a very difficult thing to do, to have a song that, even if it is only a humanitarian statement, it seems to inspire such polarised feelings depending on which side of a fence you are. And unfortunately, it's disturbingly relevant, obviously, with the current situation in Gaza. So yeah, it's a strange feeling so we start the set with that. So yeah. For this tour to go on every night playing that song with everything that's happening in the world, it's very strange.
Yeah, I think so. During this song, it takes about 17 and a half minutes. I started really shivering because everything of Marillion, of the past and the new songs were gathered together
encapsulated in that one song. Yeah, it's strange. I mean, because we worked this way when we were all working on ideas. It was only when the song was virtually finished that we heard which each other had been doing, and I remember the first time I heard everything in context with all the backing vocals and the other keyboard parts, and it struck me what an incredibly powerful medium music is to get across a message like that. Not only is a lyric, very much sort of saying these truths, but when it's wrapped up in music that has this emotional resonance as well, the whole thing becomes so much more powerful. So yeah, I mean, I couldn't believe it really when I heard the finished thing. When you're in the process of creating something, your view of it is quite small, but when it reaches its conclusion like that, it's kind of grown almost organically into something else. So yeah, I think it's probably, in some ways, probably the most important song we've ever written.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Simon Hayworth mastered sounds that can't be made, for me, a real hero mastering. Yeah. What was his first impression? He has told you after hearing your first material.
Unfortunately, I wasn't there because we were off on tour again, so Mike Hunter went down. We worked with Simon quite a lot over the years. So I have no idea what his initial impressions were, but I think he did a great job. He's a true craftsman, I think, Simon. He really, that's a great approach.
Okay, and Marillion has got a really big fan base. When I say a fan base, then I mean really a fan base. It's very rare in these years of fast entertainment, But Marillion is doing many exceptionally things for the fans too.
Yes.
How important is it for you to be near to the fans or to proximity to the fans?
The fans are the reason that we're here. It's the reason that we have the freedom to make the music we want to make. It's the support they've given us since the first pre-order in 1999. we were in an incredibly lucky position. Most bands would die to be in this position. Okay, we might not no longer have gold and platinum albums, but we sell enough to give us the freedom to make the music we want to make and to tour the world still. So yeah, it's the reason, the internet and the strength of our fan base, the way it's created almost like a global family of Marillion fans. It's quite an amazing thing.
Yeah, you started in 1997, I think so. Your first prepaid album project. Maybe you're former of the crowdfunding or something else.
Well, no, definitely. Yeah, we that was the pre-order. Well, not the pre-order. The campaign to raise a tour fund for our American tour in '97. That's when we first became aware of the power of the internet and the power of our fan base.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think if there was a pioneer of crowdfunding, I'd say we're probably it.
yeah, that's right.
Should have copyrighted the idea.
So let's talk about your cover. It contains arts and design. Don't you miss the old LP albums, just like the 70s, 80s, big?
Absolutely.
Big covers,
it would be great to have this album released on vinyl and to be able to see that artwork at a larger size. I mean, it's, at least there's a lot of the artwork, even though the CD has its limitations, because it doesn't have the physical impact of vinyl. Yeah. Just the sheer size of it. But I think by using the different artists for the different songs, it's created a great package for this, especially for the special edition version that we sell. And I think the cover image is modern and interesting and relevant. It's actually a 3D model of the response, the cardioid response of a microphone. So that's, yeah.
I've seen in your promotion video how with much intense and love you have decided for these pictures, and how long did this process go on?
Not as long as the music, but kind of the last 2 or 3 months, I suppose, of making the record. We were getting different designs through from different people, and deciding on a cover image. It just took a while. You try and make every aspect of what you do as good as it can be. Really, it becomes. It's not just about the music. In this day and age, where music can be found online by the unscrupulous, then you can, it's not just about the music. If you create something that is a work of art, hopefully a combination of great imagery and music, it makes it more something people want to own, I think.
Okay, internet. We've talked about this a few minutes ago. Is it a blessing or a curse for you?
Oh, it's both, really. I think it's a great equaliser. It used to be that the major record companies and the TV stations and the radio stations had the power to dictate public taste. Yeah. The bands that would get signed, the bands that got promoted, and that still happens to a certain degree. But now the most way that most young people discover new bands is through YouTube. Any band can make a video, any band can put their music up there. So that itself is a great equaliser. You can arguably sort of devalue the worth of music, because music is everywhere these days. Maybe people don't see it has the same value that they once did. Yeah. And obviously it's made it very easy to find and steal music or any content. But at the same time, there's people in the world that can't afford to buy your records. And I personally don't think those people should be deprived of hearing music. And maybe one day they will have the finances to buy a concert ticket or a T-shirt or something else. So it's, as long as you have a certain percentage of your fan base who are willing to put their hands in their pockets and support you, that gives you enough to survive. Even only one in 10 people who has your music actually pay for it.
Yeah.
I think that works up to a certain point. There's a certain threshold where it becomes difficult, like this, to have to spend 9 months making a record if only 1 in 10 people are going to pay for it. But I think we're still, because of the strength of feeling of our fan base, we have a lot of people who do totally believe in what we do and are willing to support us.
Okay. In 2013, it's a Marillion weekend. The last was 2011, huh? Oh,
yeah, we have every 2 years usually.
Yeah,
so we have the 3 weekends, one in the Netherlands, one in the UK, and one in Montreal.
Yeah. What does the fan expect for somebody who doesn't know it?
It's a fantastic. Basically, the one in the Netherlands, it's 3,000 of our most dedicated fans that have flown in from all 4 corners of the world. So it's just the best audience any band can imagine, and it's a great social event. The great friendships are made, wild parties until the early hours for certain contingents, like the Scandinavians are famous for their parties, but it's an amazing experience. Not just the music; it's the whole social aspect of it. Is something that has to be seen to be believed, really.
I was wondering. I said, "Wow, what's this?" 3 nights, and it's really great. More information you can get at marillionweekend.com. List for information. The next question I've asked. I wanted to ask. I've asked this question all musicians in private artists. Okay.
Right. I'm not quite sure where this is going. But
if God would stand, if there's somebody who calls himself God,
right?
Okay. If God would stand before you and he would tell you, "Shit, I've made a muck with human mankind. I need some help." What do you answer him?
I don't think there's much hope really, but I mean, what could you say? What would you get rid of? Would you get rid of hate? Would you make man love his fellow man more than himself? I think that would take a lot of thought to try and find a solution. Just that for humanity to find, I don't know, the ability to look at the bigger picture and not to be selfish, I think, and to understand what is important in life. If you can instill that within humanity, then we might not be in such a mess.
Thank you for answering. Okay. Tomorrow you'll be on stage in France, Strasbourg. And this evening you're playing here in Cologne, E-Werk. We wish you all the best for the gig and toy. And we'll want to thank you for this great interview.
My pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you much.
Excellent. Hope that was all right.
Yeah, everything was fine.